Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is time for yet another weekly wrap up that is preceded by no other throughout the week posts. It is a busy couple of weeks, so I've just been doing these wrap up vlog kinds of videos instead of posting in the middle of the week. But this week I've got a few videos I'm excited to do, so hopefully I have some time to record those, or I might record some of them today or something. But one is a haul video, so I did go a little bit not good with ordering books yesterday, but I had a gift card. So as part of a panel discussion that I sat on, there was like a gift card for our time, which is awesome. I didn't even expect that I was going to get that, so it was a nice surprise. So I ordered a few things off of Amazon because my basket gets full between orders as I'm putting things in the cart. And then I went to the bookstore yesterday so that I could get a couple of books for a friend of mine who was having a baby shower. Socially distanced outside. And so I bought her a few children's books. I meant to only get two, but I got four. Two kind of like storybooks and two board books, because babies should have books to put in their faces sometimes. And then I got two young adult books. I think they were both, oh, actually, I'm not sure if this one is young adult. It probably isn't, right? But I bought it yesterday, so it will be included in the haul video that I do. I might wait until all the books, because I'm pretty sure some of them came today, and I'll have to look to see if that's all I bought, but I might record the haul today. My Sips By box came. So if I have a book that I want to talk about that I've already read, then I'll also record this week the Sips By Tea in a Book post, which maybe I will, because there's a smaller book that came in the mail today that I kind of want to read as soon as I finish my current reads. So I might have that to record this week too. So this week has been partially busy because of work. I think I've mentioned before that I'm in charge of a big project, and like some big steps of that happened last week. So there were a lot of like small arrangements, and people who should know things asking a lot of extra questions because it was the last minute, and a lot of people want to make sure, oh, I didn't get the link, or oh, am I supposed to attend this, and all of that sort of stuff. And you're like, yes, we've been talking about this for months. You're just being needy. So that happened this week. Last week on Sunday, I had my Read Harder discussion group, and one of the books that was recommended for the horror book published by an indie press was Horrorstör, Horrorsto, with the two dots above them R. So I read that this week. So I'll tell you more about that book discussion group. We're trying to keep alive every month, even though our members are starting to scatter, but it's actually a good time for that because of the pandemic and social distancing. Like, doing Zoom meetings and discussion groups are kind of becoming the norm, and they're actually pretty convenient. So hopefully we can keep this thing going. So that happened last Sunday. Another big thing that happened this week is that I think I've talked probably at length about Rochester Teen Book Festival. And that is a major event that has been happening for the last, 13 years, I think. And we put it on hold this year. We put on hold last year because we had a loss. A founder of the organization of the event passed away. And so we put it on hold for a year. We were able to have it immediately after her passing because it was so close and she had done so much work. And then we put it on hold for a year as we were figuring out kind of what was happening, and we're really grieving her loss. And then this year was going to be the big comeback, and that was supposed to be in May, and we had a new venue and all of that. And then the Rona came, so we postponed it. And you know, I think the event chair really wanted to be able to have an in-person meeting in the fall, and it just doesn't seem like a responsible thing to do. So we had a board meeting this week, and we talked about that, and we talked about some other things. And I was voted in as president of the organization. So that's really fun. I've been working on the board for a few years, and part of my work on the board has been thinking about what the long-term plans for the organization will be in terms of leadership structure. So the outgoing president and another member of that committee, like, this is a great time to be president because there are people that I know and trust kind of supporting the work. And hopefully we will be able to offer some kind of event soon, whether that be in person in 2021 or whether it be virtual. I'm curious to see what other teen book festivals are doing around the country this year, or if folks are just hoping for the best for next year. So, but that's pretty cool to be nominated and then voted in as president for an organization that I love, and it's just dear to my heart. So that's cool. It also means more work over the next year, figuring that out. What else happened this week? I had another book club discussion on Thursday. So that was my Read Women book group. I say mine. It's a shared thing. It was first started by a librarian who ended up moving to Tennessee. But we really liked her and wanted to keep meeting. So this month we just talked about whatever books we were reading. And then next month, I don't have it, we're going to read Vinegar Girl, which is a Taming of the Shrew retelling. Ashley, who is the one who started the group, was inspired by a podcast she was reading. It was a Read Women podcast. And so she started the discussion group at the library where she was a librarian. And so the idea is not that we're all women, although we are, but that we read women authors. So I believe the author of Vinegar Girl is Ann Tyler. It may be Ann Taylor. But a few of the women in the group have read other books by her and recommend them. So I'm interested to see that book. I also really like Shakespeare retellings. I don't know exactly why. And Shakespeare reinterpretations. So I'm looking forward to that book. My current reads are My Dark Vanessa. I think that's what it's called. My Dark Vanessa. I'm not any further than last week when I mentioned it. Because I've been reading other things, doing other things. And The Killing Moon. So I have to finish this book today because our last discussion group for the buddy read that Kat over at Y Reads is hosting is today at 7. And I am not done with it. So I think I am on page 250, 245. And I was right about one of the things that people disagreed with me about last time as we got to read more. To them. Of 400 pages. It's 404 pages. So I don't math, but 404 minus 244 is how many pages I have left to read by 7. And I have a study group today at 3 for the test I'm taking on Friday of next week. And I want to prepare a few materials for that because I think I have some things to share with the group that will help them study too. So if that's over at 4, I would have 3 hours to finish it if I don't read any more between now and study group. So we'll see how I do. But I do want to finish it before we meet because if I discuss a book or hear a discussion before it's done, then I'm just not interested in the book anymore. Okay, so just to tell you about Horrorstör, which is the horror book I read from an indie press for the Read Harder Challenge. I read it in audiobook, so there are two narrators, because in between the chapters of what's happening in the store are ads for different things in the store. So I've never been to an IKEA store, but the idea of this store, it's called Orsk, so that's the name of the company, the name of the store, is that they're large, flat packaged, put it together yourself furniture store, like IKEA, and the characters talk about it being a knockoff IKEA store. So in between the chapters of what's happening are these ads for the furniture. And as the book goes on and more horrible things happen, the ads switch over to like torture devices and stuff. So that was kind of cool to notice what's happening. So in this book, some weird stuff's happening at night for the last few nights, like some of the furniture is being defiled or broken or whatever. And so the general manager of the store wants to figure out who it is. Our main character, Amy, is a bit of, I don't want to say a loser, but a bit of a loser, sort of in characterization. She's dropped out of college. She lives back home with her mom in a trailer. She's really embarrassed about where her life is right now because she wanted other things for herself. And this manager seems to have it out for her because he really wants her to kind of step up and be more a part of the Orsk family. And she just feels like it's a retail job. She's not interested in it for long term. She's just trying to figure out her life. So he recruits her to stay overnight, her and Ruth Ann, who is an older woman older like my age, older woman who lives, who works there and loves everyone, loves the job, feels like it's family. He recruits the two of them to stay overnight to catch the bad guy who's been defiling the furniture. And while they're there overnight, two other employees show up because they think it could be ghosts that are messing with the furniture, and they want to start filming a new ghost hunter kind of show. And one of them super believes in ghosts, and the other one really believes in science, but he thinks he can shoot a great film that would get them a show. The story takes place over this one night, well, kind of like the day before and then the night, and lots of weird things are happening, and it's revealed that basically the store was built over an old prison ground or something, so it's tainted and all of that stuff. And there are some gory parts and some dread-filled parts where, if you think about what's happening to the characters, you can also kind of like, ooh, creepy crawlies, And of course, because, it is a book about characters, they learn some things about themselves and each other along the way. There are a couple of redemption arcs along the way. And it's a horror book. There's some funny parts. There's some satire in relation to like retail and consumerism and all of that sort of stuff, because it is a, IKEA knockoff. But it was good. I liked it. I would give it at least a 3 stars. At least a 3 stars. I think there were a couple of, if not plot holes, things that I just don't know why you would put it in there. So for example, and if, stop it right here if you don't want to hear this, and just go read the book. And if you still want to hear this part, then keep rolling. So in the book, there's this part where they're on the floor, in the retail shop part of the store, and what's happening in front of their faces is not what's happening in the camera lens. So that they have to use the camera lens to get to where they're going. So it's kind of like they're walking, what's the world they're sitting in is the world of the old penitentiary, not the world that they're seeing, or vice versa. I can't remember which was in front of them, which was in the camera lens, but it's different. And that happens early on in the experience of the evening, and it never comes up again. And it should come up again because of what happened, and that they're kind of in the other world, the penitentiary kind of world. And there's never another trickery like that, except that some of the fake doors become real doors to hallways and stuff. And even that, like, as they introduce that element of confusion, it's weird that it doesn't become part of the problem when they're trying to escape. So there was that. Also, just personally, I think I've warned all of you about this. Even if I know you personally and I love you very much, if I get out of the horror store and you are trapped in it, I'm not coming back in for you. I'm not. I would be able to live with that guilt, that survivor's guilt. I would own it. I would go to therapy. I might have nightmares. I'm not going back in there. And our main character gets out. She's been a loser this whole time. She doesn't care about any of those people, but she realizes that she does care about them, and she thinks they're still in there. They're still in there. And she goes back in to start saving people. And it's like those horror movies that are in a cave or in the woods where I'm like, I can't relate to this because I would never be in this situation. This is not the situation I put myself in. I just can't imagine it. That didn't jive with her character, which is fine because I don't know why she got out anyway, because the whole place should have moved. She should have been stuck in there. And the fact that didn't happen are the only two complaints. Other than that, it was a fun romp in the horror spirit world. A great addition for the Readers Imbibing Peril season. And I'm glad I read it and that my Read Harder buddies recommended it. So I will see you next time.